We were all kicking our feet in bed, so excited today. That
I know. Oh my gosh. You know, and then it just, and then I'm watching the clips and people are making edits of them at the beach and interspersing it with like HYYH, them at the beach. And it's just,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think we should take a few minutes to talk about this live because
yes,
literally it was, do we want to introduce ourselves first or do we want to just talk about the live and then
Testing.
Whatever we want to do.
What does that mean? What
does that mean, Katie?
I was on mute in one of the 47 programs I have open.
Oh, okay.
So you guys could hear me and nobody else could.
I thought you were speaking a foreign language. I didn't.
It sounded like Essie.
Okay, they can hear me now.
Yeah, another language I can't speak.
I was gonna say that would be a really fun live. It was just like, guess what Katie's saying based on how everybody's reacting.
Exactly.
Who the fuck knows? First off, Patricia will not be with us tonight because she is traveling at the moment, but she should be on our next live. She's traveling back home. You must come back home.
You must come back home.
Anyway, okay, so let's talk about this live for a few minutes, and then we'll tell people who we are if they don't know, I guess. I mean...
I just... Okay.
The way in which I squealed.
Yeah.
I squealed. Like I was like a fucking high school girl again. I squealed. I was really glad that at that moment in time I was alone in my house. The cats looked at me like I had lost my fucking mind. Immediately had the watch party in the Discord open, and I had it open on my phone.
I missed it because I literally just was like, I got up away from my computer for like 10 minutes just doing random other shit. And I came back and it was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
But luckily everybody was still in the lounge and I got to catch the replay. So
Right.
Well, it was just so fast. Half the people in the lounge, by the time they got there, it was like the last minute of it. And they were like... So we were like, it's 7 minutes and 41 seconds long. Yes, it is. I know this. It's 7 minutes and 41 seconds long. It shouldn't take that long to encode, and we'll just rewatch it. And then we rewatched it like 7 times. It was fine.
Yep.
Nothing to see here, really.
Kimberly, you're right. In the comments, she's saying, I counted to see if it was 7. That's your reflex right away as you count. You make sure that there's 7 heads.
Yeah.
And then you can relax and just watch the chaos.
It was so much chaos.
There was a lot. Yeah. There was a lot.
Much chaos.
Yeah. And the funny part is that the lag and the shitty video quality kind of became almost the 8th character in those 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Because of where it would pause and lag.
You could still hear them.
But yeah, right. You could still hear them, and that you could tell they were getting a little irritated. They were like,
Bongtime
which was
getting
great.
annoyed with technology is joy.
Yeah.
Really
I also love how you can tell immediately by looking at their outfits who was jumping and splashing in the water, who was just dipping a single toe in and going, that's enough of that, and walking back up the beach.
And who could not be bothered to touch that water.
Yeah, because because dressing like a monk at the beach is such a Jungi thing, and I love that. And then Jimin in just a pair of shorts with a towel thrown over his shoulder.
Shorts. Are you sure?
They look very similar to the shorts he wore in that hot tub.
To the hot tub. Are you sure?
They may have been the same shorts.
Might have been. They might have been.
And then Hobie's outfit probably costs no less than $8,400 that he's just walking around
Such a
in.
bougie bitch. He's such
on
a
the
bougie
beach.
Bitch.
I'm sorry.
I love him so much.
Probably one. Yeah.
So fucking expansive.
Yeah.
And Taeyoung wet from head to toe and trying to dry himself off on Jin was the best.
Yes. Him yelling, and at one point Namjoon looked over at them like, and then someone said, 2 times for the present, 1 time for the past or whatever, and did the thing of when they're filming the permission to dance video and Taehyung and Jin are fighting over a popsicle. And Namjoon's like that, and they put those 2 pictures side by side. It's like same.
Yep. Same energy.
Yep. Some things never change.
I always think it's interesting how Hobie has this ability to put athletic shorts and denim together, and it looks really good on him.
I don't know what he does.
Ridiculous.
Listen,
On other people, yes, it would. On everybody else, it would look absolutely ridiculous,
insane. But like, look, he's out here in these like shiny athletic pants and a $600 jacket.
Yeah.
Just looking like a whole ass snack.
Well, the thing we have to look forward to, though, is Jimin obviously had no shirt on, had obviously been swimming, and there was a film crew there. So that, to me, says that we will get to see this in his full glory. Well, not full glory, but that in whatever is released.
And in the thumbnail, Taehyung also did not have a shirt on. So
he did not. He did not. I also saw a picture where at one point Jungkook's collar flipped down a little bit and there was a microphone taped to the inside of his hoodie. So that means Bangtan bombs all over the place, because why wouldn't they? They're recording an album.
They were
and at one point when the camera flipped, there was an actual boom mic and a whole and a crew in the background.
And lots of other pairs of feet.
Stuff.
Lots of other pairs of feet.
A crew's worth of feet.
Someone in our Discord was like, but where's Mr. Lee? And I'm like, he is not far behind. That man is never far behind.
Over there, the one probably wearing pants.
Yeah, he is there. Trust that he is there. This is the easiest his job has been in a while, because they are all in one place. When they are all in the same 6-foot radius, Mr. Lee is like, probably. No, I'm joking, but I would assume. I would assume that it would be easiest to be a security guard for someone when they're all together, much, not scattered all over. But anyway, shirtless Tay.
Listen, it was a lot. There was a lot going on. It was fantastic. I like that they kept arguing over who was going to film.
Yeah.
And they just kept taking it. And when Namjoon took it, Jungkook was like, no. Give me that back right now.
Oh, that was so fucking funny. He was like, who else is going to take this? And June is like, I'll take it. And it's like 3 seconds later, he's like, that's my phone.
Yeah, no.
Don't.
Suddenly imagining everything that could go wrong.
Yes.
Right? When it was just like in his head, it was just like, it's a GoPro or it's a whatever. Who's going to take it? Oh, June will take it. No big deal. And then all of a sudden, it was like, it clicked for him. That is my personal cell phone in his hands. And we know what happened to the last cell phone he had near water.
Poor Namjoon. He's never beating those allegations of never being able to hold anything important.
Well, I mean, if he would stop breaking them.
I mean, that's true.
Even in his most recent interview with the Bazaar, Harper's Bazaar, he was like still saying that his nickname amongst members is Hajima, whatever the fuck it is he's holding.
Yeah, Hajima, whatever. They keep telling me to just.
He's like, whole ass military service has passed, and it's still Hajima, whatever I'm holding. Get out of the kitchen. Don't do this. Put that down.
That's adorable. Yeah, so they were, and Andrea, good. Yes, as we mentioned before, they were really close to dropping spoilers. You could tell that they were very close.
They're excited.
They were all
I guarantee you, though, they've already, at least Taehyung, possibly also Namjoon, but Namjoon's not as good as being subtle about it. But I guarantee you, Taehyung's already given us like 3 spoilers, and we just don't even know it.
Yeah. And by the way he was talking, I think JK has too.
Yeah.
I think JK's dropped I think a large volume of spoilers were dropped, especially during that live, and we don't know it yet.
So how are we all feeling about all the piercings coming back for all of them? How we all feeling about that?
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. The answer lies in the question. It's only a good thing.
Yeah. It's
Bring them all back. Bring them all back.
Yep.
I feel like I adore whatever level of body modifications they want.
Yes.
Because I equally love JK's entire fucking sleeve of tattoos and his 72,000 piercings everywhere.
Yeah.
As much as I equally love the fact that Hobie is like, I'm not gonna pierce my ears, and you can't fucking make me. You know, I love the fact that they feel comfortable in both those extremes.
Yeah. I do too. Hobie's like, you'll just have to love my outfit. And I'm like, okay, deal.
Yeah.
I love your outfit.
I might put clip-ons, I might put cuffs on, but like, look, do I need jewelry? Look at me. And we're like, no, you don't, sir.
It was a joyous time.
It was a joyous time. I hope everybody got a chance.
The first and possibly the last time they ever go live outside.
Yeah. Too many variables.
As Yugi said,
there's so much going
like
on.
The first and probably last time we ever go at the beach.
Yes. All of them being themselves and doing their own things. Yes. That's what we want. That's what we want. And the fact that they think of us and turn on the camera is just bonus. Although I do feel like there's some sort of strange thing where the fandom will somehow, we all collectively like reach this peak of missing them, and boom, they do something. And
yesterday we were like, there's 2 guaranteed ways to make Bonton show up. Just go on social media and talk about how sad you are, not about them.
Right.
Not
talk
about
sad. Life in general. Talk about how sad.
Life in general.
Life in general is overwhelming.
And or talk about another group.
Yes. Go online. This is a proven fact that when we went online and started talking about how much we loved Ed Sheeran, BTS was like, no.
What's this we?
What you're not going to do.
She's talking about Twitter.
I meant the royal we.
Twitter. The Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I meant the royal we.
I was like, I remember us discussing a love for Ed Sheeran.
No. I meant the royal we.
She's talking about the social media armies.
Okay.
Not us armies. Yeah.
And they were like, what we're not going to do is share. What we're not. That's not what we're not going to do.
See, in my opinion, the interwebs was in an uproar because one Subin had done live for 5.5 fucking hours, and everybody was like, this is the second longest live coming from either V Live or Weverse that has ever happened in K-pop. It may have been all the places, I don't know, but they were like showing, how long people had gone live, and you had J-Hope's 12-hour live that has yet to be beat, and now Subin took second place with his 5.5 hour live, and we were like, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about he played 130 K-pop songs, and they were like all talking about it, and then next thing you know, boom, OT7 guys. Don't
he played
friends. We love the
played quite a lot of BTS, to be fair.
He did play a lot of BTS,
and he did some deep cut BTS too.
He did, yeah.
He was going in.
It actually, it started a really cool conversation on Twitter that I saw where people were talking about B-sides, which is a fascinating conversation about what your favorite B-side is and what makes a good B-side and all this other stuff. So I like it when it turns into a conversation like that people
Write it down. Let's do that next Sunday.
Yeah, B-sides. That's a fun one.
Oh my gosh, I love
B-side. I don't even know what a B-side is. I mean, I know what a B-side is on like an old-timey record, but
no, you're right.
Same concept.
It's the same concept.
Yeah,
the same concept.
So it's like not
when people say
track,
deep cut.
Yeah, not a released single, like a deep
right.
cut. Exactly.
When people say deep cut. So like if for example, one person said, here's the link in case you've never heard the songs that are on BTS's SoundCloud. If you've never been to SoundCloud, and people in the comments were like, holy crap, like I've never even like knew this existed or whatever. And so that's the fun part of it when you get to share stuff like that. But
on the bright side, 100% of the songs that they've released on chronologically wherever they belong in our blog.
Right.
They're all there.
Right.
So
speaking of our blog, we should introduce ourselves.
We should.
Look at that.
We should.
That was a nice segue, Christina.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Well, congratulations. That means you win and you get to introduce us tonight.
Like it. Get it.
Well, hi. You found us. We are Army Project 529. How the hell are you? If you're new here, 529 and she's here tonight, our leader, Stephanie. She was the one who came up with this crazy book club idea so that we wouldn't be bored in the 529 days between January 1st, 2024 and Festa 2025. And so our whole shtick is content and community. And those are two things that we have been very, very lucky. We've done very, very well in and are continuing to be super excited about. Every day I wake up, my new thing is to go to our Discord to say hi to everybody, which is really, really cool. So we've got the content, we've got the community. We normally have 6 of us here. Patricia is missing right now because she's doing some family stuff, but there are 6 admin and there are many, many more volunteers, awesome mods who help us out, and people that have been with us, believe it or not, since the beginning. There are people that are still hanging on throughout everything that we've done.
The kitten on the poster.
They sunk their claws into us and they just haven't felt to drop off. So we love you for that. So if it's your first time,
go.
Yeah, never let go. Go.
The one song I can sing.
Yeah. And so if you are here joining us for the first time, welcome. Today is our Sunday deep dive, which means that we will dive deep into a topic that has to do with BTS, K-pop in general. And on Wednesday nights, we go live on TikTok, and it's more of a news recap of everything that's happened. But, we follow the dopamine. So if there's something that we want to talk about or a comment that we see, we'll go off on that tangent for a couple minutes. We do what we want.
We're adults.
We're adults doing adult stuff. So,
yeah.
So today's topic, thank you, Sonia, OT7, in the comments. What is today's topic? Today's topic is going to be breaking records and the balance, the K-pop fandom dilemma over competition versus just enjoying yourself. And how do those two things kind of coexist? And what are some good parts about competition and records, and what are some bad things about it, and how we as a fandom can continue to enjoy when we have a comeback season, which, let's face it, 2026 comeback season for BTS is going to be monumental. I mean, let's just go ahead and say that. I'm not psychic, but I have a feeling it's going to be a big fucking deal.
I think that's probably safe to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how how some of those things, get started, and rumors and stuff like that. All that good stuff. So,
yeah. That's like the balance between enjoyment and pushing. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I don't want to just say breaking records, because it's not just about breaking records.
Right. But how about achievements? It's like achievement based.
Yes. Okay. The balance between the balance between enjoyment and pursuing achievements.
There we go.
Feeling like it becomes a job.
There we go. Yes. Very good. And I think that we have a small part of that, because this project is a labor of love for the 6 of us, and everyone else who's done work with the project is definitely a labor of love. But we also, there's things about it that are tough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a fair conversation. So so that's what we're going to talk about
before we even dive into the conversation, because I think it's an important conversation, but it's one that you kind of really can't even have on social media, because if you bring it up, you open yourself up to so much attack for even, you know what I mean? Because then both sides all of a sudden are like, but that's what Army is. And you know what I mean? Like you open yourself up just by bringing it up
Yeah. And I think, Stephanie, you are a person who, if people are new here and watching, Stephanie by far has the largest social media reach out of all of us. And so she has had the, shall I say, pleasure of meeting lots of random internet people who have very strong opinions on what you say, Stephanie.
Very strong opinions. They're allowed to have very strong opinions, but you're not. That's basically what I've learned.
That's true. That's true. And you have to keep your decorum and your grace under pressure, but they are allowed to be trolls.
Yeah.
And so that's the funny part about that.
Yeah, of course. That's the way the internet works, right?
Yeah. That's the way it works, you know.
Yeah, that's what it says in the pamphlet that none of us got.
Yes. Wherever the parenting pamphlet is, it's there too.
And we sure as hell didn't have directions when we started this project. Hell no. We were going with what we thought, and
we were ill-prepared.
Flapping in the wind.
Listen, we egregiously erroneously thought that if you went out on Kid Nam June's internet with good intentions, you would get good vibes back. And that was a woeful error on our part. That is not how the interwebs works. You can have all the good intentions in the world, and they will come at you and just make shit up on a whim and attack you for their invented things.
If you had told me a year and a half ago that us posting about $20,000 given to UNICEF would get us death threats in our DMs, I would have called you a liar. But yeah, here we are.
I would have said, ain't no fucking way. 20,000, over 20,000 raised for UNICEF is going to get you unaliving threats. But sure shit did.
Here we are. That's why we were like, you know what? We should have this conversation because we have to learn how to talk about stuff like this constructively.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, literally the fandom is never going to go anywhere in a positive direction. It's just going to keep squabbling and squabbling and squabbling.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think that anything that we've ever done as a fandom that we look back and we're proud of was done by grown-ass adults.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. That's the fact of the matter is it's done by mature people or grown-ass adults. Yeah.
Or people who at least acted mature, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it takes a lot of work to make something happen. Even little dinky internet projects, it takes a lot to make it happen. So so that's what we're going to talk about. And like I said before, Sundays are our deep dive, and Wednesdays, if you're looking for news, Wednesdays will be on TikTok at the same time. So
we have a question I want to answer real quick. I'll try to be brief because we have some new people, but we have some people who've probably heard this 1,000 times. How did we find each other? So like somebody said, we are actually 6. Patricia is traveling with her family right now. But yeah, we all found each other, I think, in some way due to Steph posting online. Steph made a video talking to chickens about how she had no friends to talk about BTS with, and we were all also bumbling around the internet trying to find friends to talk about BTS with, and I found her, and we made a Discord, and then some people joined the Discord, and then she said, hey, let's make a project, and we all stupidly raised our hands, and that's about how
and now went. We bumble around the internet together.
Yeah, we do.
Now we bumble around the internet as a unit.
Yes.
Yep.
There's our merry group of volunteers that just put up with us.
Yep. Yeah. It's true.
Or like Jin and JK in Malta with just leashes holding on.
Yes.
Listen, I have literally held on to Steph like a leash in order to keep her in sight in Chicago.
Yeah.
I have also, held on to people so not to lose them in a crowd.
Yep. That's just fun though.
The bumbling bunch. That's our secondary name.
Yep.
Well, no,
and we have
third name.
Anyway, it's true.
Anyway, sorry, we can keep going. I just saw that question from a new person.
No.
I think that's what we're talking about. So we should give a quick overview of what we mean when we're talking about pursuing achievements. Like what that looks like. Like breaking records, streaming goals, milestones, chart rankings, that kind of thing, YouTube views, ticket sales, that kind of thing. Let's do a quick overview. I mean, that's sort of a quick overview, but
yeah. Well, I mean, so streaming goals, chart rankings, YouTube views, album sales. You've probably seen people celebrating the fastest to 100 million views for a YouTube video, or the most pre-orders in album K-pop history. So those are the records that we're talking about.
I mean, even down to most handsome, there's something for everything.
Yeah. How many Dasangs, how many, Mnet wins, how many, these are all things that when you're first new to K-pop, like I was, when I got involved with BTS, when I found BTS, I was finding K-pop. I was not part of K-pop before I found BTS.
Right.
BTS was my entry into this. And then all of a sudden I had to basically learn a whole new structure of how things worked. Because in my, Western music head, there was Grammys, and then there was performances.
You could get number ones.
Yeah, you could get number ones, or
that's a good thing.
Yeah, or you could. Does anybody remember listening to Casey Kasem's Countdown?
Yeah,
on the radio.
Casey's Top 40.
Casey's Top 40, where you would get to number one, and then this week for number one was So that was how I
record.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Wait for the commercial to end. Oh.
Yep. And so that was what I understood to be as like records and record breaking and things like that. And so when I got into the K-pop stratosphere, it was like, wow, this is a whole different type of thing. Yeah. And so when we talk about record competition, we also talk about there's now a very large social media aspect to all of this as well, which didn't
organized.
Right. So again, it didn't exist like that when I was just a Western fan, a kid in the 80s. It didn't exist like that. And so I think you definitely have to, because information can get out fast and furious about voting, about chart position, about album pre-sales going online and people sharing links and being able to do all of that. And so that's also a part of it too, when you talk about competition. And so in general, I'm just going to put this caveat right here. We are a BTS project. And so we look at things through a BTS lens when we're talking on lives and things like that. And so that's where our experience really comes from. There are many of us, both in the Discord server and abroad, that are what you call multi-stands. So we have more than one band that we follow in the K-pop sphere. But for this, when we talk about record competition, we're going to be, obviously, I just wanted to point that out, that our lens is through BTS.
Our focus is what the project is, BTS.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So that's, for those of you that are new, that's who we talk about mostly.
But we are kind of going to be talking about K-pop at large.
We will, because we can't talk about competition unless we talk about the fact that there are other bands. Well, there are other bands and other fandoms that exist, right?
Yeah.
And there are some people who are part of only one fandom, and there are some people that are part of lots of different fandoms. And so there it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when we are talking, so we're talking about the record competition. So versus, so every time the way that K-pop is so different though, because not only is it like, okay, there's an album coming out, we've got to chart it, because you want to chart an album for your artist, get them a number one, blah, blah, blah. There's also things to consider, like music shows. Like there's literal, they have like weekly competitions and things like that too. So it's a whole new ball of wax.
Right. And the cool thing about that too, is especially when you're talking about like a band that's just starting out, the records will help with visibility. That's what everybody wants, right? And so you are translating those records into visibility. So a high first day, YouTube view count might get global headlines, and then everybody's talking about the band. Billboard charting can be used as international relevance when you're charting on the Billboard. You can get Guinness World Records. And so it all, I think, translates into this increased visibility, which we definitely have seen over the last couple of years with Korean music in general. I mean, we know that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. And it also goes with the one more thing I wanted to say was who they get to collaborate with then, in terms of like, the more visibility, the more popular you are, the more you might have people come to you to want to write songs with you or produce songs with you, and et cetera. So yeah, so it's not a bad thing. We're not going to sit here and have the conversation that records and competition is necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I wanted to say, because we did start to get into like the background and the context a little bit, but you did pose a really interesting question that I think we should think about as we all discuss and move forward. As you pose the question of like, is this competition building fandom strength, or is it creating cracks within it? And we kind of touched on that when we started talking about, when Stephanie was saying like, it's pretty darn near impossible to talk about this kind of stuff on the internet. So I think that's an important point for us to keep in mind as we're going through, so that maybe we can address that central question, like once we get a little farther in.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, so keep us going, oh guru of the charts.
That's me. So the global rise of fandom-driven achievements. Let's just stop and give ourselves all a pat on the back for being ARMY, because we have done some fucking incredible things.
True.
We have set some
really
records for BTS, helped set some records for BTS that have been absolutely freaking amazing. And the way that we do that is by working together as a fandom, by sharing information, and also going in to scenarios like YouTube algorithms or how Billboard is counted chart wise. We go into those areas and we freaking figure it out. And then we get that information and we share it all around to help that record be achieved.
It's fascinating.
It is. It really is fascinating. And
I didn't know hardly any, well, I shouldn't say anything, but I didn't know as much about the music industry and things like this before I became a fan of BTS and K-pop. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, I sure as shit didn't know how Billboard charting rules went and how these music show view counts, like what goes into a win on a music show. I didn't know none of that because I didn't care. I never like, I've been a fan of music my whole life, and I've been in fandoms before, but I never actually cared if my favorites made it to the top of the Billboard chart or the top of this chart or made this record or this whatever until BTS. I never cared. But now like there's this element of like, I don't know, I feel like it's a fierce protectiveness of Bangtan itself, because they have been through a lot in their career, and they started off as the underdog. So I feel like getting into BTS, there becomes this almost like inborn need to help them achieve more. And so I learned how Billboard works, and I've learned how the different charting platforms that I'm on work, how playlists work. Like, I never cared before, but now it's like this almost like protective need to help them succeed more. That makes sense.
I think that speaks to the fact that like I had never, like, obviously I'm a nerd and I've been doing fandom things for years and years and years, but it was never really music related. All of my fandom things were related to other things like movies or TV shows or books or whatever you might, have, like, it wasn't really like so much music. Like you could have, obviously people would be, oh, we're all fans of this particular artist, but it wasn't like a fandom where people like really got together and like talked about like beyond saying like, oh, I really love this album, or oh, I really love this album. It wasn't like having, because before getting into K-pop, we weren't experiencing musicians that had like integrated media content. So you get like an album from your people, your group, your artist, your whatever, and that's it. That's what you get. You get an album. They promote, they go on some shows, you know, they do a tour, and that's what you get. You're not also getting like YouTube. I mean, now you are, but like now, because they're starting to take cues from, you know, the way the wind is blowing. But like before, we weren't getting like all this other content as well. And so because this fandom built up, it became, suddenly it wasn't just the artist competing. Then it became about the fans competing as well. So
right.
You know, for pride and, like you said before, visibility and
and that's all good things, because we're coming as a project who talks about community building, right? That's one of our biggest strengths, and one of our biggest pride is that we have a community that we've built. And so I think that part of it is definitely such a benefit. You know, and even in our little microcosm in our Discord, you know, we have a place to go and yell about everything that's related to BTS, and it's a really good feeling. It's a really good community bonding sort of a thing, and there is a lot of pride. And as Doc mentioned, like if you get into BTS's story from the very beginning, you find the heartbreak really quickly, of how it was so hard for them coming up through a system that really didn't want them to be there. And so there is not only that pride of helping them achieve the records, but there's that stubbornness too of like, oh yeah.
But I have a question, because like I've never really been huge on, I mean, I'm a fan of a few things, but nothing like this before. But I don't think I've ever seen this like in the Western music industry. To me, I didn't even feel like this existed until I realized about K-pop.
Yeah.
Because Western artists don't do all this. They don't release 5 versions of an album and cards and, you know, and I mean, I think maybe they might start, you know, you see some that are, their fandoms are sort of starting to do that, but I don't recall ever seeing this ever in, you know, George Strait. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm just thinking of artists.
Perfect example. Perfect example. No,
Listen.
Somebody brought up like Tiger Beat magazines. Like sometimes, you would get those magazines and they'd have like people in there. Maybe there'd be a poster. You'd pull the poster out and put the poster on your wall, you know. Right. And obviously we're going like in the Wayback Machine here, and we're kind of talking about like pre-internet stuff. But I think even because when I was in high school, like AOL was starting to become like a really big thing. And going into college. And so that's when you started seeing like people learning how to put things on the internet, you know, like all of a sudden everybody was learning HTML and like just building a web page for whatever the fuck we wanted to make on the internet. And I sure as shit was like building stupid ass web pages for like, you know, I was like, oh, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let me just make a web page about it. Did anyone ask for it? No, they didn't, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
No, and I will say, if you look at modern Western musicians, they are now doing very, very similar things to what BTS and K-pop in general does. There are quite a few Western artists who, I won't say names because we're trying not to talk about names specifically, but there are a lot of them who are releasing multiple versions of an album and, you know, having inclusion. Western music, long before K-pop, figured out that if you did remixes of songs, they got counted for the Billboard charting as the same song, but you didn't get that having to have gaps between the songs. You could literally play the remix album start to finish, and all fucking 5 versions counted for your Billboard. And so Western artists figured a lot of those tricks out a long time before K-pop did, as far as like remixes and ways to increase charting in general, and getting their fandom in on helping them chart songs higher and things like that. But a lot of current non-K-pop artists are releasing multiple versions of albums with inclusions and all of this stuff now.
And they are looking at the other 2 prongs of that as well. They're looking at their social media presence now and thinking, what else can we do to supplement the music that we're putting out? And 2, they are definitely going to those K-pop concerts. And seeing how the audience interacts, because they want to know if BTS is in town for 4 nights, they want to know what would make someone pay to go see them 4 nights in a row, knowing that it's essentially the same show. But why are these K-pop fans going back over and over and over again to these shows? There's got to be something. How do we involve our fandom the way that their fandom is so plugged in? So
well, and also look at how many non-K-pop artists now have incorporated a stylized, a different version of the light sticks.
The bracelets I've seen that light up,
like bracelets,
right.
There are a ton of these non-K-pop artists who have now done the light stick thing that's synchronized for their fandoms. And so it is kind of cool to see K-pop influencing non-K-pop spheres. It's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that is cool. And I don't know. I mean, I know we were talking about the benefits of competition, but I don't even know if I would call that competition. I would call that more like just smart strategy, like market research.
Market research is a better phrase for that.
People going out and going, how in the hell are these guys doing it so well? And like, what can we incorporate, in our thing? And I think that's really
that's
cool.
Just what anybody does for brand strategy.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you are looking at your competition, so to speak, but it makes it, that's just a smart decision. But so, yeah, like the benefits, we talked about community building. Obviously, we're here as part of a community around, and because we're part of a fandom we're part of ARMY, we're part of the BTS fandom. And obviously this project has had a big impact on all of us. So that is the single greatest, I think, benefit of community building and coming together for a common goal. You said raising awareness. Obviously, like ARMY built BTS up back in the day. We know this. They know this. They constantly credit ARMY for building them up, like getting the word out there when it might not have been gotten out any other way, if not for ARMY. Supporting the artists in a very tangible way, like, obviously more higher sales and more streams equal opportunities, like you said. And then when companies and sponsors see the kind of power that, a group like BTS has, they come knocking on the door, and then that creates more opportunities. And then the fans themselves, like, look at everything that ARMY's done, organizing campaign. I mean, even us, we, Katie was like, let's raise money for UNICEF, and we did. And I mean, you all did, like, really, we just facilitated and put a link out there and said, use this hashtag, and everybody was like, cool. And $20,000 in a week is nothing to sneeze at. And that's the power of ARMY. So those are all the great things, like building that kind of like team camaraderie. Those are all the great things about competition and getting into that whole like strategizing thing. We know what it's done for BTS, but what is it also doing though?
I was going to say, now we got to flip the script a little bit and talk about the downsides, the toxicity sometimes. As Stephanie has found out, who she dares to get on her own TikTok page and give an opinion about the Festa dinner. Or how dare she?
How dare I?
How dare you?
The audacity of it all.
I got a comment about that the other day.
Oh, jeez.
The internet is the gift that just keeps on giving.
It just really
I know, it really is. Well, here's the first thing that we can talk about, and this is something that as being really involved in the streaming charting voting channel as I am, something that I have heard lots of people talk about, and that is the pressure and the burnout of working hard for BTS.
Yep.
Fans will often say, I've heard Army say this on pretty much every social media app that I've seen, where they feel guilty because they can't at this time contribute enough. And by contributing, I mean they feel guilty over things like can't go to a concert or can't buy the merch or can't, support them.
Not now, Alexa.
Exactly. Can't support them monetarily or even non-monetarily. Like, I don't know, I'm just listening to the music, but I'm not streaming.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how to, I don't know how to properly vote for this particular, award. So I just didn't do it. I didn't have enough time. And people will feel very guilty about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is pressure because we want it. We want them to be, to get all the flowers that are, deserved. But it's hard sometimes because there's a lot going on. And like we mentioned before, the K-pop sphere just works like 24/7, it seems like sometimes.
Well, and to me, it seems like I'm the kind of person I'm just the kind of person where you give me a hard time about something, I'll actually do the opposite.
Right.
And I
That's
have
fair.
to fight that, with BTS because I want to support them. But at the same time, when people are just coming at you constantly, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, then it's like, then why am I even trying at all? Like, no matter what I do, it doesn't seem like enough. It seems like the people that are just here to have fun and want to listen to great music and they love 7 amazing men isn't enough. It makes you feel like you're not enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not,
Right.
And then you get somebody that's like, I've been listening to this song all day, and trying to celebrate. And people are like, well, yeah, I hope you're listening to 4 songs in between, and it's just like,
Right.
Are you doing
Right.
it this
Listen
way?
to it. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
But are you doing it correctly? Yeah.
Right.
And then those same people, though, on the flip side, those same people who have gone to the absolute utter extreme of the streaming charting voting, a lot of them don't understand. If you're on, say, Spotify, you got a family account, because I've heard people do this. They get a family account for Spotify and they run streaming all day long, every day on 6 different devices. Okay. And they act like they're doing the greatest. They are the best because they are running Spotify premium family account on 6 different devices. Spotify, they're streaming 24/7. Okay. But what they have failed to recognize is Spotify doesn't count multiple devices on the same IP address. So unless you're running a fucking VPN on all 6 devices, which that's expensive, good luck being that great at what you think you're doing. Like, they think they're doing all these things, but they don't understand the algorithms recognize when somebody does that, and they don't count their streams.
And
So they're doing so much work thinking they're the greatest.
Mhm.
And it's counting for fuck all, because Spotify is literally ignoring the entirety of their family account. They're not even counting one of those devices because they have recognized them for being an abnormal streamer, and they don't count it. They don't count the same IP address running all the same kind of streams on multiple different devices at one time. They don't count it. And people fail to recognize that they have literally messed up the algorithm their own selves, and none of their streams are counting. And they're the same ones who will keyboard warrior you on the nether sphere, acting like you're not doing enough, where your organic streams, you're only listening 5 hours a day, you're only listening, for a couple hours a day, whatever. Turns out your organic streams are doing far more for those charts than the inorganic streams that they think they're doing the most for, because
Right,
that's
right.
how the
The
system
hamster
works.
on the wheel. Sorry, Jen, I'm not talking about you. The hamster on the wheel who's running and running and running and running and running and running and running is still not really getting anywhere. So
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't pay.
Well, and I think, again, though, like going back to the pressure and the burnout of that, though, you have to learn how to do those things. And
Right.
and if you're busy and you have a life and you're not, maybe connected, then there's a learning curve to that. And there can be, anytime there's a learning curve to something that you're not familiar with, there's going to be some pressure and some burnout.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, I agree with Doc in that sometimes it's just the take that some people have.
Well, I think it's one of the things that people that are new to ARMY, that are new to BTS,
Right.
you don't expect that when you come in, right? You just, like I said, you come in because you love these 7 guys and you love them as people or as music or whatever, and you don't realize the part-time job.
Yeah.
People expect you to give them, sometimes.
No, I totally agree. You want to know something else that we didn't expect, especially we as a project, is Fan Wars.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's
Fucking
talk real quick
ridiculous.
about nasty competition. And it will fuel hostility.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Long-standing hostility.
Really?
Between
Like
fandoms.
grudges you have never imagined.
Yeah,
Holy
like
in
shit.
your life.
Nobody actually knows where they came from. They're just there.
I
there.
had to report the things that people put on the fucking internet to complete strangers is really shocking.
And
Fucking
we've said this
astounding.
before. We've said this before on many a live. We say it in our Discord. Fan wars are stupid, and we
They're
don't
pointless.
tolerate them.
Yeah, because the thing is that these records often, records are, and I know it sounds cliche to say, but records are made to be broken, right?
Yeah, they are.
And if somebody beats somebody else fair and square, then it is what it is.
That's what it is.
It is what it is. And so you try again next time the opportunity comes up. However,
that's healthy.
That is healthy. That's a healthy way to look at
competition.
competition. However, the type of stuff that we will see sometimes, and it's not everybody, but the type of stuff that we'll see sometimes is that it becomes a source of na boo boo. We beat this record, and it's like, I mean, what are you really doing it for? What are you really doing it for when you're saying stuff like that? Like, is it for the chance to get over on somebody for something, or is it a celebration of a celebration and appreciation of your artist's hard work in getting that record?
Perfectly right here. People don't need to put other groups or fans down to lift their group up.
No, they certainly don't. And I can tell you with certainty, BTS would not be cool with that.
They would never.
They would never. They would never encourage their fandom or members of their fandom to shit on other people in order to feel good about a record. Like, they would not.
Especially when we have seen time and time again that these idols from different groups, from different companies, they're friends with each other. They're friends.
Some of them were trainees together.
Yeah.
Some of them trained together. Some of them were almost in groups together. Some of them literally are like lifelong besties with each other. How do you think they feel watching their fans fight with each other for no reason? And then their fans are convinced that because the fans hate each other, the idols hate each other. Meanwhile, the idols are over here best friends in group chats together, living life together, having their friendship together. As there's this obnoxious, unfounded fan war going on. Like, how do you think that makes them feel?
Yeah.
To see their fans fighting against one of their best friends groups.
Yeah.
It's insanity at its root base.
That's rough. That's rough. And unfortunately too, from what I've seen, you know, those are often the posts that garner the most traffic. More traffic on social media means more eyes, means people are making money. And so it's not very hard to figure out why somebody would do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the reality,
clickbait rage.
Yeah, the
rage
reality
baiting.
of social media is rage baiting gets higher view counts. It just does. That's how social media algorithms work. Negativity and rage baiting will always push higher on the algorithm, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's how those social media platforms work. They like the fighting because the fighting gets more interaction. And so they will always shove those controversial hot takes to the top of the search bars.
Yeah. That's why you see
To
those
the
people
top
who
of
do
your-
stupid lives where it's like unpopular K-pop opinions, and it's just a bunch of people just like spouting bullshit, and it's ridiculous. But people just
most of them won't show their face.
They just want to people sit and eat popcorn watching that shit. Just
that's that mean girl energy.
It's that mean girl energy, and that is not the energy that ARMY should have. That's not the energy that BTS wants ARMY to have. They don't want, like, they love, of course they love winning awards. They love charting. They, you know, and they love healthy competition, but they also love celebrating the achievements of others as well. I mean, let's think about when 2023, the MTV Awards, when TXT won awards, and JK was there at dinner with them, celebrating with them.
Yep.
And it was Yeonjun's birthday, and JK was, you know, paying for Korean barbecue for him for his birthday, and like they were having a great time. And I mean, I know they're label mates, so that's, you know, it's like, but still, it's still like that, celebrating wins for other groups, you know.
Yeah and that the dark side of that then also becomes, instead of celebrating, now you're going to talk about the fan wars, which turns into accusations of cheating, streaming manipulation, buying the charts, payola. Like there's all kinds of that, all that language that I had to learn when being on social media and talking about BTS and record breaking and things, because I didn't know what any of that meant. But you learn really quick that it's that is a very icky part of that. And those are real accusations. We know BTS has faced those accusations from way back in the day. We're talking 10, 11 years ago. There were those
every successful group, let's be real, every successful group in the history of the music industry has been accused of payola. Right. Every single one. I don't care what country they're from. The US has a huge payola problem. Every freaking artist who has ever been at the top of the game has been accused of payola. It's just,
why doesn't somebody explain
petty
what
jealousy
payola is for the average
payola
viewer?
Is a pay to play. Payola is it was really big. It's really big in the US. It's paying the radio companies to play your song on their radio. It's why some songs will get played, like it seems like every freaking other song. You'll hear the same song, like to where that song gets super fucking annoying. Those songs were pay to play. They were told, the DJ was paid to play those songs, and so they get more airtime. They get more airtime, and so therefore they get higher on the Billboard streams and the Billboard Hot 100 and whatever, because they're being played more. It's why and the fascinating part about BTS being accused of payola is we don't hear them on Western radio because they fucking refuse to pay to play. They only ever get played on Western song request shows where the fans are calling in to request them. And so that accusation kind of makes me laugh a little bit, because they refuse. And it was actually a big thing in the media a few years back that they refused to pay to play in the US. And that's why they weren't getting on the radio. But this concept of payola has been around since the dawn of the music industry. And it is actually how the majority of these big record companies get their artists seen. is to pay to play, the payola. And so when this is part of the music industry, accusations of it as if it's like something new is kind of insanity. It's absurd, really. But also BTS in particular has been well known for not doing that, for refusing to do that. Right. And so whenever that accusation comes at BTS, it's almost laughable because of the fact that they've actually been in the news for refusing to do that. Oh,
yeah. See,
ridiculous.
I like your point here, though, about focusing on all of these numbers. I like the point, Christina, that you put in here about how when fans' priorities shift from celebrating and enjoying artists, and it becomes more of a numbers game, like when we're focusing more on numbers rather than appreciation, we actually start to overshadow the idols or the artists, like the idols' artistry, basically their talent. Like it becomes more about like not about like what they're producing, but what we can do with it. And so it becomes like a weapon.
Yeah. And it can also, you can get really stressed and really upset when something doesn't go your way in terms of like, it doesn't reach 1 billion views in 24 hours. It doesn't because it's difficult because there are so many other variables that you don't have any control over as a fan. And even though there are millions of us all over the world, Army, there are millions of us, it is still hard sometimes to make that needle move. And this is not a conspiracy to say this, but there are people that do not want BTS to succeed. There are people everywhere in record industries, in other industries. There are people that do not want them to hit those records. And so it can get really, really frustrating sometimes. And I hear this a lot and see this a lot on social media where people are like, why, how come there's so many of us, Army, and we can't move the needle? Like, why? And it can get really frustrating if you focus on just that. So
yeah. And there's nothing more disheartening. There's nothing more disheartening than like really coming in and like being like, wow, I really loved this. I really loved this release. And I listened to it a bunch and I feel really good about it. And then, you hear like, oh man, and it came in, it charted number, 12 or whatever. And then people come in and they're like, well, why didn't it chart number 1? This is your fault. This is, whatever particular branch of Army or whoever.
These fans, those fans.
Yeah,
you fans.
It's their fault. It's their fault. Why didn't you guys get it to number 1? And it's like, what? And then you sit there and you think about yourself as an individual person and you're like, I don't really know what more I could have done.
That's right.
But thanks for making me feel like shit about I was listening to this song or this album and I was having a great time and I was like, this is great. And I was really proud when I saw that it charted and it made this number because, and it, like not every, I feel like this shouldn't be like a hot take or anything like that. But like literally like not everything can go to number 1. Not everything is going to go to number 1. And, and sometimes the things that do go to number 1, it's arbitrary, man.
Right.
Certain songs really take off and certain songs
and I think it's important to know. I think it's very, very, very important to know. We have lost perspective, especially Army who are deep in the numbers game and deep in the record breaking game. We've lost perspective. It is an astounding feat for any band at any point in their career to make it onto the Billboard Hot 100. Mm-hmm. And so for a band like BTS to repetitively hit the Hot 100 and sometimes number 1 and sometimes not number 1 is an astounding feat. And I think, like somebody had said, you never know what's going to pop off. The reality is the number one way to hit the top of that chart is airplay on the radio in the United States. That is the number one way to get to the top of that chart. And BTS isn't going to do that because they've already vocalized they won't do that. They don't pay to get the airplay on the radio in the US. So that count is like super freaking low, which makes it much, much harder to get them onto the top of the Billboard Hot 100. And the other thing is we can't do it. 44 million of us. It is not possible for ARMY by themselves to get BTS to the top of that chart. We have to have locals listening to that song. We have to have non-K-pop, non-ARMY have to be organically listening to those songs in order to pop those to the top of those charts. We can't do it by ourselves. There are not enough of us. And that sounds asinine when there's like 44 million of us. But there are not enough of us to get those songs to the tops of those charts when there is no radio airplay happening.
Right.
It's not possible. And so that's what will pop to the top of the charts is the things that explode where the locals love it. And it goes crazy amongst the non-ARMY. That's what gets to the top of these charts. So ARMY yelling at other ARMY that they're not doing enough is literally insane because it's not possible.
It's antithetical.
It's antithetical. Yeah, it is not possible for the 44 million ARMY to push these songs to the charts, to the top of where people think that they should be by ourselves. Well, these songs have to take off with locals.
I think the industry is changing around it as well. Like I think it used to be back in the day, an artist would put out an album, every year or two? It'd be like, cool, we haven't heard from them in a while. No, now everybody else looked at K-pop and they're like, I got to put out an album every year. I got to make a big deal out of these songs. Like the Western music industry is having comebacks now like K-pop. They learned from K-pop. Yeah. And so there's way more competition out there too.
Yeah. It's very true.
Well, I think this is a good point to then, okay, so there was the positives, there was the negatives. Okay, so now this next part is how do we strike a balance? Because I agree with Stephanie and Doc that I'm doing nothing if you're yelling at me. I'm not doing it if you're yelling at me.
What did we say?
Fuck out of here with your yelling.
You see somebody pull up behind you waiting for your parking space?
Yeah, no.
You're going to sit there all fucking day.
We live there.
And if you honk at me,
I'm ordering
DoorDash,
sitting in my car.
I'm gonna die here.
I might turn my car off and go back in the fucking store just because you honked at me in the parking space,
right?
Bitch.
Something.
Fuck out of here.
I think I forgot something.
Push me out of
I'm
my
gonna go
space.
back and buy it in every color, bitch.
Yep.
Anyway, no, but I think that this is where I think we can speak as a project who has a social media presence on all the apps, and as well as a Discord where we have a community, right? We live absolutely right here at the place of how do we find a balance between making all ARMY feel welcome and part of the fandom, because they are. No matter how much merch you buy or how many songs you stream, you can still proudly show your ARMY membership card and say, I'm an ARMY and I love BTS. So how do we then create an environment that is going to be welcoming to all types of ARMY? And I think that we have done a really good job in that. We continue to get better at it, but we do a really good job with that. And I think the way that we do that is we make time for people to learn things and make spaces for people to learn how to do things, but we don't tell you have to do it, number one. Right. And number two, we don't pressure you and tell you that you're a piece of shit if you don't.
Correct. I mean, what's our number one rule for our community? Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole. So the healthy part of competition is something that we are really, really into. And that's, we want to celebrate all the wins, but we're not going to do it at the expense of demeaning or putting down another fandom or another group of people. We're absolutely not going to do that.
Yeah, all of these artists are working hard.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to your point, Katie, that we will want to celebrate anytime any of you ARMYs out there do anything. Every small effort counts. Every little drop in the bucket counts for something good. And so if you can only stream the song once then you stream the song once, and
Stream
that
the song
fucking
once,
that
and then-
stream
And
counts.
you enjoy the shit out of it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you've only bought one piece of merch, fucking enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's celebrate that kind of stuff, because that is where the true joy comes from being a fan, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think BTS would be happy if you were like, man, I worked my ass off and it was awful. It was so terrible. I streamed so hard and I hated every second of it.
Because they want you to enjoy their music. They don't want
And that doesn't mean you can't do
down
both.
in the
Well,
music
sometimes I
industry.
think what's interesting about, I'm going to speak to K-pop fandom because, like I said, I don't really know. I don't follow Western artists anymore. But
right.
The community of it is a positive thing, right? And we build that and we love that. The community part of it is also can be not so great in the aspect that the more you learn, right, about, well, we stream, we do this, we do that, then the joy sometimes can start to dissipate, which is the whole reason that you got into the group, right? Which is joy, and they're my I always say they're my therapy. That's why I don't really get into all the other stuff. I will support people that do, but I'm not going to ruin yet another thing in my life and make it feel like a job. I'm not going to do it. Like, if this is my place of peace and therapy and joy and all of that, then I am not going to destroy that by listening to everybody telling me what I should be doing, and you're not doing enough, and you're not, and it's like, the boys would just want me to enjoy them and love them as they are. Like, right? They don't have any expectation on me whatsoever, other than loving them and treating them well.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes the fandom part of it, and I think it is because of wars, the fandom wars, it starts getting to that get everybody riled up. So we fight. Whereas sometimes if you'll just let people live and let people enjoy it, will happen on its own, right? That's when the magic happens. Not by force it down.
I like that we like to create the different spaces for people, because people like different things. Like, I stream when I can and I enjoy it when I listen to it, but I'm not like, I've never had like a farm setup. Some people really get into that though. Some people are like, I am so efficient with this. We have Paulina, who I don't think is here tonight. I haven't seen her comment yet, but she like loves it. Do it. Everybody find your thing that you're super into and spend time on that, and don't shit on anyone else who's not into your thing.
Right. Yeah, and some people, like you said, some people find their joy in the fandom in having 6 different devices on 6 different platforms. Do not put all 6 devices on the same fucking platform. They don't count your
I know people who have they will go to their family members' houses to vote.
Everyone write that down. Doc wants you to know.
Write that down, because they announced it. They don't count the IP addresses. Like, if they see multiple devices on the same IP address,
I know people who know that, and they're like, I go vote on my mom's phone at her house. I go vote on this phone at this house.
Some people switch VPNs. They find joy in this. And there is nothing wrong with finding joy in being a super streamer. What becomes wrong is when you become burned out in what used to be joy for you, and you take that aggression out on other army, claiming they're not doing enough.
Yep.
Other army who are sitting there just crafting their freebies for the concert, because that's the thing that brings them joy.
If you've lost your joy in the area of the fandom that used to bring you joy, find something else. Don't crap on other people for not doing enough because you're burned out or you're frustrated or whatever. That's where it becomes problematic. The balance becomes understanding that different parts of Army have different strengths. There are parts of Army that find extreme joy in raising money for human rights. And there are parts of Army that find extreme joy in streaming, charting, and voting. There are parts of Army that find extreme joy in helping others in their community, in making those freebies for the concerts, in going to the concerts. Everybody's got their strengths. And it's like a body doesn't function if everybody is an arm.
Right.
Yeah. You know what's really,
parts.
I find really,
fandom needs different body parts. It needs different components.
What I find really funny is instead of trying to attack other army and getting aggressive with them, do they not know how lobbyists work? If you're a special interest group, then you lobby for your interest. You don't go on and yell at people and call them shit. You bring them in and you go, look.
adage, you catch
cool
more flies
with honey. More
So
flies with honey.
that's what always makes me laugh is like you don't get more people by shitting on them. Like,
yeah, I'm going to encourage people to help me by telling them that they suck.
Yeah, that's not how this works, man.
That's one of the top ways I block people is if they're going in my comments off something that I have nothing. I just was talking about something in general, and they pop into my comments and they're like, "You need to be streaming. Tell everybody it." I'm like, block.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, don't come in my space.
You're not gonna. What we're not gonna do is beat up other army
We're just
in
not.
a safe
We're just
space.
not.
We're not gonna allow
my
it.
space, you're not. I mean, go
well,
make your own.
The thing, and to be quite fair too to us in 529 specifically in our community, we are literally in charge of doing everything. Mm-hmm. We are not a streaming project exclusively. We are not a Discord watch party exclusively. So we have to do all the parts of the fandom all at once.
Yeah.
So
I think the biggest rule, like we said, I mean, so striking a balance, the easiest way to strike a balance is, what is our number one rule? Don't be an asshole. That's the easiest way to strike a balance.
Good rule of life.
Yeah, don't be an asshole. Because you know what'll happen? You know what'll happen if you're not an asshole? Someone will wander into the streaming charting voting channel and they'll go, "Oh, you guys share playlists in here? Oh, that's cool. I love this playlist." They click it and they play it. Guess what? They're streaming now.
Yep.
Yeah.
No fuss, no muss.
Are.
Nobody pressured them to do anything. All they did was press play on a fucking playlist that somebody put in the channel, and boom, you've got another streamer who just
added. Very intentional about creating a channel where people could go to for that, but it's not being posted 9 million times in every channel of the server. So it's like, if you're interested, it's very easy to point people in a direction, or somebody could just click on it out of curiosity and be like, "What's going on in here?" and go, "Oh, cool." But then the people who like, that's not their joy, they don't have to go to that channel if they don't want to. And this is the same thing with social media. Like, people who want to talk about it and spread that news, people can find you out there. But like, you don't have to force people. The more you try to force people into doing anything, like we said, it makes us want to do the opposite. It makes a lot of people want to do the opposite.
Right.
We can normalize not making people feel guilty and not making people feel like shit when certain goals and awards are not achieved. And let's be honest too. Let's be really honest. Like, most of the time, these goals, these awards, they're not things that BTS themselves are asking for. Every now and then, yes. But they're not always asking. They're not asking us to do this on the regular.
Right.
It's just hard because everybody here has a life and they have things they have to take care of during the day that work or work-like activities, and you come to enjoy BTS or K-pop or whatever for fun, and then you come in and somebody yells at you and it's like, man, I was just here to find some joy.
Well, especially when you get yelled at for something you're actually fucking doing. I'm in the streaming charting voting realm. I have so many freaking streaming charting voting playlists going. I run listening parties on Station Head, and so you feel an extra bit of an emotion when you do those things, when you are streaming and you do know the rules and you're on multiple platforms regularly, and somebody comes in and yells at you for not streaming charting voting. You're like, you don't even fucking know me. First of all, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know me. You're not my real dad.
I taught my cat how to stream. You don't know me.
Only Kim Neptune is my real dad.
Because if you went here, you would understand that I do stream and chart and vote. You didn't even go here. Comment section, mother.
But also, please let me turn it off for an hour to do my live stream.
And it's like, there are so many times where I'm like, if I didn't love BTS the way I do it, you know what I wouldn't fucking do anymore? Stream or chart. Because they make you so mad when they yell at you to do something, especially when you're already doing it. And you're like, how dare you? How dare you come in here? And my neurodivergence is like, fuck you, I'm never doing that again. Except I love BTS, and so I will do it again. But like, I have to actually go through a whole mental challenge after I get yelled at. I get yelled at on the social media by somebody who doesn't even know me, telling me I'm not doing enough. And I have to actually jump through mental hoops. As somebody with very severe ADHD, I have to jump through mental hoops to get back to a point where I want to stream and chart and vote again. And oftentimes it will interrupt me for multiple days to even a week, where I was streaming, say, 18 hours a day. And now I go a week where I stream not at all for no other reason than somebody yelled at me, and my ADHD requires time to refocus and reset and get back into the mindset of wanting to do this for BTS, and not wanting to do it just because some bitch on the internet told me I had to, very rudely and meanly. And so I don't think they understand just how detrimental their attitude is towards the actual streaming, charting, and voting.
And I think that goes for everything in fandom.
Yeah.
Not just streaming and charting and voting. When you are being an asshole about anything in fandom, it turns people off. And it makes them want to go somewhere else. And then you start to hear things like, oh, well, ARMY's the worst, or this fandom's the worst, or this fandom is the worst. And then it starts to reflect on the artists. And then
or worse off when we start talking about different armies on different social media platforms, and I'm like, okay, we gotta stop that, because we gotta be united if we're going to do anything. We gotta stop that.
We should only be united for good things.
Yeah,
we should be united to wage war, this imaginary on another fandom or another group, and because that's not healthy.
The people that get their dopamine that way, I really encourage them to try to find a different way to get their dopamine, because
first find therapy.
Get a coffee or something.
You really gotta dig deep to find out why shitting on people on the internet gives you a thrill. Yeah, you really got to figure that out.
I think
most of the time it has to do with that.
I think most of the time it has to do with people who feel. Let's not get too deep into therapy about it, but usually it's when people are unhappy with themselves.
Yeah,
I mean that
BTS has a lot of content about that.
That old adage, hurt people hurt people. You can see it present itself when somebody is suddenly anonymous online.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm really happy about everybody just reliving Schoolhouse Rock in our comments. Like 30
amazing.
I'm just a bill.
They're having their own conversation.
I know they are. We're talking about this in competition, and they're like,
because it's Schoolhouse K-pop. Somehow it became Schoolhouse K-pop, and like
we need to break this. We need to make this happen, guys.
Y'all are hilarious.
We're the segment of Army who remembers Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we hit the mark, the time mark.
Yeah,
that was a really good conversation, and thank you everybody for all the comments.
So final takeaway.
Yeah,
don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
I mean, achievements like awards, breaking records, winning awards, charting on Billboard and things like that. Those things are all amazing. Those things are all amazing, and we should never not want those for the artists that we love. And specifically here, we talk about BTS, but it could be any artist you love. We should never not want those things, but they also don't define the value of our artists. BTS is not the sum, the sum of their awards. That doesn't make up BTS. They are not their awards.
I heard a very excellent point that someone was talking about their awards being their legacy, and I would actually like to correct that and say that their legacy is much more than those hunks of metal that are sitting in I think without the artistry and the love behind all of that stuff and the message, those are literally just lumps of metal. They have to. It's us that gives all that meaning. So
I would wager that if they were asked, they would consider their legacy to be the people who are still alive because they found their music. The people who are happy now because they found their music. The people who are in healthy relationships because they found their music. That would be the true legacy.
Yeah, it's the people that they managed to help, even in
it's the people whose people whose lives are better and still existing because of their music.
I would agree.
That's the real legacy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But we like I said, we're glad you joined us for this conversation. We were really thinking about this because as they are recording what is sure to be an awesome album for us next year and go on tour next year, the conversations will start to happen much more regularly about records and selling out stadiums and ticket sales and things like that. And so I think it's just good every once in a while to just kind of keep all of that where it belongs in terms of where the needle goes.
It's okay to be proud. It's okay to be proud,
absolutely.
but it's not okay to like turn that pride into
expectations that you hold other people to,
or smugness. Don't turn pride into smugness that you then push into other people's faces.
Yeah.
Humility is the name of the game.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that they are the best example of that.
Hubris. Yes.
So listen to their words, listen to what they've said. When Jin goes on an award show and he says, if only we could make music honestly.
Yeah.
If
wouldn't
only
it be
we
great?
Wouldn't it be great
if we could just make music honestly? Yeah.
And just enjoy it. So cool. Well, thanks.
You could. That was really good, guys.
I think we go on to should we hit the reminders?
Yeah, really quickly.
All right.
this whole conversation we just had, and what's the first reminder?
The first reminder is, for those of you that are into it, we have a streaming charting voting channel in our Discord.
We do.
And it is hella fun. And we have really good conversations in there. So join. Grab a playlist or two. Do a couple votes. We're voting for Jimin right now for the VMAs for Best K-pop. That's going on, and you'll find links and stuff to do that. We're sharing if that's your joy. We're sharing one of our friends, Nicole, that we have met on social media and actually have met in real life, is doing a by 21st Century Girl on August 23rd. So that project is ongoing. So it's just a cool place to hang out and find out what people are doing from all over the interwebs for BTS. So come and join us and hang out in there if that's your thing.
Yes, we also have, we talked about our Discord. You guys should come and hang out with us. If you see us on social media, you can come and hang out with the bulk of our online community in our Discord. You can find, I think you put the link in the comments. Did we pin a comment, Katie?
Sure did not.
Whoops. AP529.com/links. You can find anything having to do with us at that web address. Our website, of course, AP529.com. That's where you'll find our blog, chronicling BTS's discography from debut until present times. And you will find all the other stuff, the cool stuff that we do on there too. You'll find our Moss City map, which Patricia created. She's not here. But if you come and join our Discord, we do a ton of stuff in there. We have watch parties almost every night. We've got a book club. We've got a meditation club. I host a watch party every Thursday night. It's sometimes for blog content. We're right now in the midst of a Suchita rewatch. Patricia and Doc do Run BTS every other Friday. Steph is going to be starting a K-drama watch parties on the weekends. We've got tons of stuff going on, and for different time zones as well. So there's always stuff going on in our Discord, and you guys should come and hang out. It's a lot of fun.
For sure.
All right. As we said at the beginning of the live, sort of kind of at the beginning, it's like 10, 15 minutes into the live after we fucked around a bit. We go live twice a week. We go live Sundays. This was our Sunday deep dive here on YouTube. And our next live will be on Wednesday over on TikTok. It'll be at the same time, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, over on TikTok. And our username is the same, Army Project 529. That is when we will talk about member news from the week and shenanigans that took place out on Kim Namjoon's internet for the week. And so you'll want to join us. That's our midweek. And lately we've been bringing people up to talk about our Kansas City meetup at the end. So that's been a lot of fun. You're going to want to join us there at like I said, it'll be Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
Nice. Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
We hope you have a pleasant week. If you joined us for the first time tonight.
Once again, we know you have your choice of Army projects.
That's right. That's right.
We thank you for choosing ours.
Thank you for choosing this chaos, this particular brand of chaos.
Thank you for choosing Army Project number 529.
Number 529.
Exits are located.